All right, everybody, in this video, we're going to look at beautiful Rockaway Beach, Oregon. Stay tuned to learn more. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Clem with the Home Team Brokers coming to you from Rockaway Beach, Oregon today. In this video, we're going to take a look at all things Rockaway Beach, what Rockaway Beach has to offer, what it's like living here, what the real estate market is like, what are the things to do, some of the activities, where is this located on the Oregon coast. We're going to talk about all of that. Now, if this is your first time to the channel or you've been here and you haven't already and you want to get more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. And we've helped so many people relocate to Oregon, move to the Oregon coast as real estate professionals. We love to help with that process. So if that's you, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video and schedule a Zoom call with us. Either way, we would love to help with your move to the Oregon coast. All right, as you can see, I had to come into the studio to finish this video, but let's talk about Rockaway Beach. So Rockaway Beach is a town on the northern Oregon coast in Tillamook County that flies under the radar a little bit, probably because it's overshadowed, at least in part, by Manzanita and Cannon Beach to the north, even Seaside, Astoria, Tillamook, Oceanside, and Netarts to the south. And it is right in between Halem Bay and Tillamook Bay, but right on the coastline. So this is unique in that Rockaway Beach is one of the only towns on the Oregon coast that is right there on the ocean. A lot of towns on the Oregon coast are set on a river and you have beaches nearby, but this is a true seaside town. So Rockaway Beach has about 1,500 residents, and to give you some context, this town was founded in 1909, so this is one of the first true kind of seaside resort communities established in Oregon. And in 1950, the population of Rockaway Beach was 1,000 people. So you're not looking at a ton of growth and a ton of development over the past 70 years, which gives it a really unique dynamic and just aesthetic overall. There's definitely a ton of open land and vacant area to develop here, but the town has remained quaint and small, and again, really kind of having that true seaside Oregon coast town feel. One of the things about being established in 1909 is you have a ton of old historic little cottages that are super cool. Now, I've been through a lot of these properties, and a lot of these properties definitely have a lot of deferred maintenance and need a lot of work, need a lot of rejuvenation. That's not uncommon on the Oregon coast. Even a home that's 30 or 40 years old on the Oregon coast that hasn't been well maintained is really going to show some signs of age and wear and tear. So in Rockaway Beach, there is some opportunity to get into some really cool old, again, true seaside beach town cottages, but definitely going to be something that probably would require some additional investment in terms of updating, maybe structural improvements as well. You see a lot of these homes with, some issues with foundation, but these are little shotgun shacks, 1-2 bedroom, like maybe 500 to 700 square feet, maybe up to 800-900 square feet in some cases. But when you go around Rockaway Beach, you see a lot of these. You also see a lot of homes built over the decades as well. So there is a really good mix of homes. We'll talk more about the homes in Rockaway Beach and the real estate there later in this video, but regardless, you get a really unique dynamic being right on the coast, being right on the coastline, right on the beach, beach access everywhere. Just about every couple of blocks, you can go down the street straight west and hit the beach access. So a ton of really good beach access, big open beaches here at Rockaway Beach. So yes, it is really a tourist town, a vacation destination, a lot of second homes, vacation homes, things like that. But there is enough beach there to go around for everybody, for sure. One of the things too that makes Rockaway Beach really unique for the Oregon coast is it's one of the only towns that allows short-term rentals just outright. So you need to get a permit, you need to go through the inspection process and go through the steps to get your permit to operate a short-term rental. But there are a lot of towns and counties on the Oregon coast, including Tillamook County, where Rockaway Beach is, that are cracking down more and more on short-term rentals, where it's allowed, what they allow in terms of how the house needs to accommodate street parking and sleeping and things like that. And there are areas that are just outright disallowing short-term rentals, or have at least established a moratorium on issuing new permits. So there's a lot of areas where if you tried to buy right now, maybe in the future, you know, they're kind of sorting things out as far as what the future looks like, what the future of short-term rentals look like. But if you wanted to get a permit today, you wouldn't be able to, because there is a moratorium on getting that permit. So for Rockaway Beach, that makes this area super attractive for people who are looking to purchase a second home, a vacation home, or purely an investment. Either way, having the opportunity to do short-term rentals either full-time or periodically. That also makes this market a little bit unique in that as a buyer coming into this area, you are competing against a wide range of buyers. There's a really big buyer pool here. It's not like things are flying off the shelf really on the Oregon coast in general, whether it's a more of a vacation first type area, an area that allows vacation homes, or an area that doesn't. It's typically going to be the case where you are competing as a buyer against people who are looking for primary residences, people who are looking for vacation homes, people who are looking for the second home, maybe third home, people who are looking for the investment aspect, looking to do a long-term rental or potentially a short-term rental, depending on where it's allowed. But in Rockaway Beach, again, you're competing with people across all of those categories. So, you know, the best homes in the best areas with the best beach access in town that really check all of those boxes, those properties can sell pretty quickly. But again, the market is not incredibly hot. And really on the Oregon coast, these being small towns, I mean, things do tend to sit a little bit longer as it is than when you look at more populated areas, major metro areas. So if you compare it in Oregon to like a Portland, Salem, Eugene, for example. Rockaway Beach itself is really, really straightforward. So it's really flat and it's right along Highway 101. So there's some towns where you have to get off the highway, off of 101, to really get into town and get into the residential areas. And Rockaway Beach, it's the case where, again, 101 just goes right through town. It is straight and flat. So, you know, when you look around, you can see the topography, you can see how the town is laid out very easily. So you can get your bearings and get the lay of the land, you know, pretty quickly when you look at Rockaway Beach. So most of the residential development is east of the highway, but there are a couple blocks on the west side where you have condos, a lot of homes, a really dense residential area, where, you know, all of these properties just on the other side of the railroad tracks, I mean, you can walk to the beach in like under a minute, no matter where you are. So, you know, this is a really popular area for people to pinpoint whether they want to live right on the ocean or they want to do an investment and have a property that is going to be really attractive for short-term renters in particular when you look at Rockaway Beach. Now, again, you have most of the residential development on the east side of the highway, but it's really just laid out on a grid. So again, it's very straightforward. You have maybe about 15, 20 blocks that extend east. So you have maybe about a mile going east from Highway 101, and I don't know, maybe about 20, 25, 30 square block area of pretty dense here too, beach cottages, some larger homes. Again, we'll talk more about the real estate in terms of what you can get in this area, but overall really pretty modest. And all of these homes in this area on the east side of the highway, where again, you know, you're a little bit further from the ocean, you're still going to get really, really great beach access, because you go down, you know, any of kind of the main streets, thoroughfares, you know, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and you go straight across the highway to a beach access. So you can walk there even if you're on kind of the furthest edge of town. You can probably walk to the beach in 15 minutes. And all of what Rockaway Beach has in terms of in town, like stores, restaurants, shopping, is right there on Highway 101. So really anywhere you are in that immediate Rockaway Beach area in town, you're going to be able to get into town, go get coffee, go get food, whatever it may be, and get to the beach as well. So that dynamic in particular is pretty unique for the Oregon coast as far as having everything that you would want right there and very, very accessible. Now, there are a couple of other areas in Rockaway Beach that I would highlight that aren't as clear, you know, when you're right there in town, or, you know, don't stand out as much. Now, if you're standing in town, really anywhere in town, and you look east, up onto the mountain, up onto the coastal range, you see some residential development up there. Most of it is just, dense coastal forest, but you look up there and you see these big, beautiful luxury homes. There's not a ton of them up there, but this is definitely going to be an area for folks with a certain budget. I mean, you're probably looking at least 800,000-900,000, definitely a lot up over $1 million, up, at elevation, up above town, but it's incredible up there. So you really, on any of these properties or driving on any of these streets up there where these homes are up on the hill, you look down, you see town, and then of course, complete 180-degree horizon of beaches and coastline. So super, super nice. This is an area that for somebody looking for a little bit higher end luxury, looking for that view, looking to be up out of the tsunami zone, this is going to be an area that I think would check a lot of boxes for a lot of people, and it's an area that I think a lot of people don't necessarily know about. So that's something that is really cool in Rockaway Beach and unique to this town, being that most of the town is just flat right there, basically at sea level. Now, if you go north of town just a little bit, you have Manhattan Beach, and then you get north of there by the high school, and you get into Nedonna Beach, and there is this pretty big community, this pretty big development, which is really, really nice. I mean, this is an area that really, really does fly under the radar, because if you're driving on Highway 101, you would never know it's there. There's really kind of one way in and one way out on Beach Street. So if you turn off the highway on Beach Street and get to this area going toward Nedonna Beach, this is definitely one of the objectively nicer little communities on all of the Oregon coast. There are some areas like this. It kind of reminds me of Bayshore and Waldport, for example. There's no stores, there's no coffee shops, there's no restaurants, there's nothing like that in this community. So it's really like a little neighborhood or suburb of Rockaway Beach, kind of a little bedroom community. Some of it is still in city limits. A lot of it is unincorporated in Tillamook County. So you could run into some licensing issues if you are looking to do a short-term rental in this area. But a lot of it is newer. So a lot of it has kind of this upscale feel to it, even though a lot of the homes are smaller little cottages, kind of true to the Rockaway Beach aesthetic. But you do have some larger homes in this area, some 4 or 5 bedroom, 2,500, 2,800 square foot homes that are going to offer something that is maybe just a little bit of a notch above what you can get actually in town in Rockaway Beach. So, Rockaway Beach in and of itself in town has a lot of really, really great stuff to offer. So this isn't a knock on Rockaway Beach necessarily, but Nedonna Beach, again, has a really, really nice feel to it. It's a little less dense too. So in town in Rockaway Beach, again, the homes are pretty dense, pretty close together. In Nedonna Beach up in this community, not as much. So going back to town, if we look again at Highway 101 is really kind of your strip of downtown Rockaway Beach, just the stretch along Highway 101, where you have maybe a dozen restaurants or so, handful of shops, little antique stores and little gift shops and things like that. There's a candy store, for example. There's some coffee shops. So there's plenty to do in town, not an enormous offering, but commensurate to the size of the town and the population. Definitely plenty to do there in town. But also, when you look at the location of Rockaway Beach, there's not a straight shot in terms of a highway coming from Western Oregon, like that I-5 corridor out to Rockaway Beach, but it's still super accessible from the Portland area or even the Salem area. It is just north of Tillamook Bay and just south of Nehalem Bay. So you have these two bays, north and south of Rockaway Beach, that kind of sandwich Rockaway Beach itself. Again, where Highway 101 goes right along the coastline in town in Rockaway Beach. Just north of Nehalem Bay, you have Manzanita, then you have Cannon Beach, then you have Seaside, and then even up to Astoria. So if you're in Rockaway Beach, you can get to some of these other Northern Oregon coast towns that are really, really popular pretty easily, especially Manzanita. I mean, that's just going to be about 20 minutes north. Now, looking south, there's less in terms of towns south. You get into Garibaldi, Bay City, then you get into Tillamook. From Tillamook, you can get to Oceanside and Netarts. South of this area is pretty undeveloped, but there's a lot of hiking. You have like Cape Lookout, so there's a lot to do in the way of outdoors, both north and south. So north you have like Neahkahnie Mountain and you have the Ecola State Park. There's Hug Point. I mean, there's a lot to get out and do, a lot to get out and see in terms of exploring the outdoors, not just getting on the beach. But again, if we're looking south, you get past Tillamook, and Highway 101 kind of veers off the coastline. It gets a little more mountainous, a little more wooded. Really nice drive through that area, but it's not till you get down to like into Pacific City, which is going to be probably about 45 minutes, I would say, give or take, from Rockaway Beach. So there's a lot more north, a lot more going on in terms of getting out to seeing other little towns on the Oregon coast and things like that, but there's plenty to do south as well, in particular in the way of outdoors. So we've talked a little bit about the real estate in Rockaway Beach and what the dynamic is as far as the actual layout of the town, what you can get, a lot of more modest offerings when you look at the homes themselves, really pretty dense. So there's not a lot of areas in Rockaway Beach where you can get more than like a 5,000 to 7,000 square foot lot necessarily. Some of that can exist, but that is not the norm at all. These are small lots, smaller homes, really, again, pretty dense. Even up in Nedonna Beach, you can get larger homes to some extent, a little bit larger lots, maybe. Again, it's just a little more room to breathe, a little more spread out, but it's really still pretty dense in there as well. I would say up in Nedonna Beach and then up on the hill above town, prices are going to be more expensive. The homes themselves, but also like a price per square foot. More in town, you can definitely get better deals, but you get older homes. So there are some trade-offs there for sure. Rockaway Beach, again, is going to be a market that remains pretty competitive because you have the second home buyers, vacation homes, investors, you know, looking to do short-term rentals, and then people relocating to the area full-time looking for primary residences. So again, I think the best homes and the best conditions and the best location are typically going to be pretty competitive, but again, you can come in and get some pretty good deals, especially if you're willing to come in and make some either cosmetic improvements or structural improvements, maybe replace a roof, whatever it may be, in this area. I would say overall in Rockaway Beach, when you look at like bang for your buck, when you look at being on the Northern Oregon coast, when you look at comparing this to other towns that have really good beach access and have that true Oregon coast town feel, Rockaway Beach is definitely going to offer more bang for your buck. I mean, Manzanita, Arch Cape, Cannon Beach in particular, these are the most expensive areas on the Northern Oregon coast, and you're really right there. I mean, the only thing separating those more expensive areas from Rockaway Beach is Nehalem Bay. So you're right in that pocket, and although Rockaway Beach has a little bit more of a modest feel to it, those primary things that people are looking for, especially beach access, water views, things like that, you can get in Rockaway Beach at a little bit of a discount when you compare it to neighboring towns. We talked a little bit about some of the outdoors, some of the things that you can get out and do, obviously the beaches, but a lot of hiking, a lot of things to get out and see. There's also a ton of fishing in this area, in particular because you have these bays. So you have Tillamook Bay, you have 5 rivers coming in. I mean, you know, the fall and spring runs are great for fishing. Also, like up on Nehalem Bay, there's a couple of little marinas. You can rent a boat. They'll give you a crab pot. You can get your catch, take it in. They'll clean it, cook it for you. These are really, really fun activities to engage in. Again, whether you're living there full time or it's something that, you know, a place where you're visiting periodically, or if you're looking to add value for potential short-term renters, you know, looking for an area that has a lot for people to do, Rockaway Beach is going to have a ton right there at its doorstep. So if Rockaway Beach is an area that is interesting, if you want to learn more about areas that are similar to it, if you want to talk more about your move to the Oregon coast, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, click the link down below in the description of the video, schedule a Zoom call with us, and we can talk about what you're looking for, your timeline, your budget, really put together a game plan for you. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. As always, we really appreciate you watching. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.